All relationships are transactional. If you think otherwise, you're the one who's getting used. Hello and welcome. If you're new here, my name is Shidon Pofu. I'm your personal emotional intelligence detective. Welcome to the Fit with Chido family, where we go beyond physical fitness, striving for mental and emotional fitness. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you get notifications. Today, we're going to be talking about dating safety. I am going to be talking about dates between men and women, but I'm sure a lot of the tips I'm sharing apply to other scenarios as well. So take what works and leave what doesn't. The first thing I want to encourage you to do is when you go on a first date with someone, if you see a certain behavior, you need to assume what you see will be amplified times 10 if you end up going on multiple dates with that person. So if they say a backhanded compliment to you, you need to assume that they're going to be doing it 10 times more. And you need to ask yourself, can I tolerate this on a long-term basis? Can I tolerate this for a long time? Can I be in a relationship with someone who's always doing this all the time? This will help you because a lot of women see negative traits on dates and they somehow think, oh, it just slipped, it was just a mistake, it was just one thing, it's not that big of a deal, let me give the person a second chance. What you're not realizing is a lot of men actually show you a negative aspect of their personality on purpose to see your tolerance, to see how you will react. They're always testing you. They're always testing your boundaries. They test them with jokes. They test them with backhanded compliments. They test them in the stories they're telling you. And this testing doesn't stop on the first date. It is best for you to assume for the first couple of months, they're testing you. Men test you in the very beginning. They test your capacity for toxic loyalty. They test to see if you're the type of person who can develop self-betraying loyalty. They do that in the first couple of months by doing things you don't like deliberately, but because you're still getting to know each other, they can say, I didn't know. What you fail to realize in this situation is usually the thing they are doing, nobody in this world would actually like it because it's usually disrespect. Nobody likes to be disrespected. So you need to be careful when people do things that seem like mistakes and they say, sorry, I didn't know that I was hurting you, when it's something that any person with common sense would know is disrespectful and wouldn't do that to someone they claim to care about. You need to pay attention to this kind of behavior. You also need to pay attention to someone giving you specific tests. These specific tests will be based on things they know about you. So let's say you said you don't like purple flowers. You don't like the color purple, so you don't like it when someone gives you purple flowers. And then the person gives you purple flowers and they say, oh my gosh, it must have skipped my mind. I heard you saying purple, so I thought you liked purple. You need to stamp this in your heart and cement this in your brain. When someone cares a lot about you, they don't make such mistakes, especially in the beginning, because people know first impression matters. People know that the first month, the second month, the third month, they're trying to create an impression. They want to keep you in their life. They're not going to be making such mistakes. But they will say, oh my gosh, it skipped my mind. This is why we all need to raise our bar for what we tolerate. When you are being tested in this manner, or when you see something that you don't like, ask yourself, if this person was doing this times 10 of what they're doing on the date, would I be able to tolerate it? If the answer is no, you shouldn't go on a second date with the person. The second thing we're going to talk about is All relationships are transactional. If you think otherwise, you're getting used. And there are two types of people who say, oh, relationships aren't transactional, relationships aren't transactional. One is the person who's manipulating the other people. The second person is the person who's being used. But out of these two people, only one truly believes the statement, and it's the person who is being used. You need to understand that when you go on dates with men, they are assessing you to see what can this person do for me and what can I get from this person. So if you are not doing the same, you are now in a one-sided transaction. Relationships are transactional. Exchange happens between people. It doesn't matter if it's romantic, friendship, family, it is transactional. When people say relationships aren't transactional, what they are reducing it to is saying, I did this for you, you do this for me, tit for tat, that sort of thing. Even if you're not doing that, you're still exchanging something. All of the people who say relationships shouldn't be transactional, you need to ask them, would you be okay with someone taking and taking and taking and taking from you without them doing something for you? It doesn't have to match up in terms of when it's done, but are you okay with always being on the side of being taken advantage of? Most people would say no. So why would you walk around thinking there isn't an exchange that's going on? Why would you walk around thinking relationships shouldn't be transactional? They are transactional, whether you like it or not. You're not gonna continue to have someone in your life who's taking advantage of you. You're not going to continue to have someone in your life who's constantly taking from you. Please cement this in your brain. When you go on dates, men are assessing, what can I get from this person? What can this person do for me? So you need to be doing the same, because if you don't, you're guaranteed to lose. You're guaranteed to lose in the interaction, and you shouldn't be so liberal with your time that someone can get attention from you, someone can get your time, you can listen to them without you getting anything from them. Don't be so liberal with your time, because you can't get that time back. Women don't realize this is the first thing that signals to a guy your level of self-esteem. It's your willingness to give of your time without getting anything in return, without there being a benefit for you. You shouldn't be having all these elaborate conversations with someone who you don't even understand what are they going to do for you, because by you talking to them, they're getting validation. By you talking to a guy, he's getting validation in some way. Some of the times they're even telling you their trauma or fake trauma just to get your attention, your empathy. They want someone to feel their pain, to hold their shame with them as they share with you, or to brag about what they are doing in their life. They're benefiting something from you. What do you benefit from hearing someone talk about their life? Nothing, especially if you're still getting to know them. So you need to make sure that you're getting something that you want from the other person. The other piece of advice I would tell you is, as a woman, you should talk less and learn more about the other person. If you're the one doing most of the talking, know that it's going to be very easy to manipulate you. Because chances are the person is asking you questions about yourself, getting an understanding of what excites you, how can they win you over, and you've basically given them a blueprint of how they can woo you, make you believe they actually care about you. And if they do care about you, then that's good. But if they don't care about you, you're going to find yourself in trouble. So what you need to be doing is also ask that person questions. Understand who is sitting in front of you. Understand who you're on a date with. And if they ask you certain questions, make sure you always flip that over and get their take or their perspective on something. This will also make it a fair exchange in terms of letting them also share about their life and share their thoughts, what excites them, that sort of thing. And it's always important for you to learn to differentiate between being asked a lot of questions because the person is truly interested in you versus the person is investigating and analyzing you. Both of them look the same, but if you start to ask an investigator questions, they will try to avoid them and turn it back to you. Whereas someone who's taking interest in you doesn't have an issue with also sharing because they want you to have an idea of who they are as a person. So you need to be paying attention to how the person you're talking to reacts to you asking them questions. If they don't enjoy you asking them questions, then that is a sign that you're dealing with someone who's trying to figure out how they can manipulate you or get into your life as quickly as possible. The last thing I'll share is these are more housekeeping things. Don't go on dates without doing a background check on someone. If you can find someone who knows this person and talk to them and ask them about the person, that would be great. Don't share your personal information in the very beginning. You don't know who this person is. Give a Google Voice number in the beginning. Don't give your phone number that's attached to your address. And make sure someone knows where you're going, they have your location, something like that. It's important for you to put your safety first. Always assume people you don't know are dangerous until they've proven themselves otherwise. One date is not enough. 2 dates is not enough. You need to always have safety precautions in place when you're meeting people in a dating setting, and even when you're getting to know people. You should constantly assess what are you getting from it? Who is this person? What do they stand for? How do they react to me asking them questions? Are they willing to share or not? Were they asking me a lot of questions? Also, watch the type of questions someone is asking you. Are they being too invasive in the beginning? You need to ask yourself, are these things I would share with someone the first time I met them? Or is this a piece of information that I would only share after knowing someone for a long time? Often, people get asked intrusive questions and they don't realize they're being asked intrusive questions because they don't take a pause to ask themselves, is this something I would freely share with someone the first time I meet them? Or is this something that I would only share after knowing them for a while? So always be aware of that. Always remember relationships are transactional. Some people are just more obvious about keeping score. You don't necessarily have to keep score, but you need to have a clear understanding of what you're getting from the other person. Don't give off your time. Don't give off your energy without having a clear understanding of the exchange that's happening. Because whether you like it or not, men get validation from being seen with you, going on a date with you, you listening to them, you dressing well. So you need to always understand that they are also assessing you on the basis of what can I get from this person. You need to be getting something out of it. Don't just get into relationships without understanding what you're getting from it. And I'm not necessarily talking about materialistic things. There's so many things you can look at and see, can this person give me? Can they give me safety? Can they give me peace? Among other things. So it's always important for you to really look at this because some people actually look at you and think, oh, I can get such and such and such from this woman. Meanwhile, they are bringing violence into your life. Meanwhile, they are bringing chaos into your life. So if you don't do inventory of what this person is giving you versus what they're taking from you, you're always the one who's going to be on the losing end. You might even be receiving things that are horrible. Thank you so much for joining me. This is a very important topic. Next week, we will be addressing self-esteem, working on your self-esteem and your self-concept, how people treat you based on your self-esteem, and why it's a non-negotiable for you to work on your self-esteem. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you get notifications. My name is Shidon Pofu. I'm your personal emotional intelligence detective, always keeping it real. See you next time.